So let's get to this gem.
Uh-oh, I know what this is.
You sent this my way today.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just slightly defend it in this way. There are a lot of great venues in college football, of course. And what we're looking at, folks, is the EA Sports top 25 toughest places to play. And it's kind of ironic, Corey, because just the other day, I titled my live stream Myths in College Football Myths. And I proposed 3 that I stated I can't say that these are truly myths. They just have yet to be proven. And you've heard me spout off about these before. Number 1, rivalry games. Throw out the record. Just throw out the record. The records don't matter. It just doesn't matter. They're 10-0, they're 0-10. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. The better team wins just as much as they do in regular games. Somebody would have to prove to me otherwise. Number 2 was trap games. Okay, I know what a trap game is. I know, and I even know the psychology and understand it. And I'm not saying that it's flawed thinking. I'm saying it just hasn't been proven. Nobody's come to me that I've been able to find anywhere with a metric to say, yes, trap games really, there are more upsets in trap games than just a standard big favorite versus big underdog. And point number 3 was that night games are more difficult to win on the road. I took a survey of Ohio State night games against their non-conference opponents over the last 20 years. The road team's 9-2 because all these Ohio State fans were going crazy because they don't get to play Texas at night, and that's a disadvantage because they got to play during the day. I don't see it. But again, it might be true. I'm just saying it hasn't been proven.
Who's 9? What's that 9-2 record again? Tell me that. What's the criteria?
Those are Ohio State primetime night games against non-conference opponents over the last 20 years.
But how many of those were wins for Ohio State? How many of those were Ohio State home games? 0?
Roughly half of them.
You're saying Ohio State has lost basically 5 different times at night at home in the last 10 years?
They lost to Texas in 2005. They lost to USC in 2009.
Okay. 20 years, okay.
They lost to Virginia Tech in 2014. They lost to Oklahoma in 2017.
Well, I do think there needs to be, if we're going to throw out not generalities, but yeah, kind of just cliches like that, I think there needs to be some extra criteria set on some of those statements. Like, I don't think a night game, like there are certain stadiums that I think naturally create a more raucous environment at night.
Absolutely.
I think Kinnick is one of those.
Absolutely.
And I will say in the last, 5-6 years, Iowa at night they've gotten killed by some teams at night. I mean, they've gotten killed by just about any team with, a well above average record. They've not been competitive against the best teams in the conference. So I'm not going to argue that for a second.
But that's been mostly on the road during the day or at night, but not at home, correct?
No, they've gotten crushed by Penn State a time or two. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these games have ended up being more big noon kickoffs and afternoon kickoffs. You're right. Yeah. It seemed like 10, 15 years ago, there were a lot more marquee games for Iowa at Kinnick.
Yeah.
Because of the previous TV deal. And now with the new Fox deal, Iowa's still going to schedule home night games, and they're going to market them as such, but they're not against Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. They're just not. So
I probably had the same initial reaction to this that you did. Wow, this is ridiculous. This is unbelievable, because when I think of the toughest places to play in college football, so I don't even think Ohio Stadium is that difficult to play in. It's the team you're playing. So you need to remove the team you're playing and say, are these teams in particular substantially better when they're playing at home than they just are?
I don't know that Michigan is top 25.
I don't know that they are either.
I don't know that they're top 25, Mark. Like, I really, everything I've heard about the Big House is it's a very relaxing place to play.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't even know why they're on this list.
Well, because they hold a lot of people. Even though it's enormous, the way it's built,
Correct.
from what I've heard, it's so spread out that the noise just goes straight up in the air.
Yeah, so they shouldn't even be on this list. That they're a fraud. And then, yeah, I'm going to try to look at this because I haven't been to all these venues.
So
But
my defense, Corey, if I can just say two things. Yes, my initial reaction was this is ridiculous because Kinnick is one of the very top places. I think of LSU, Death Valley. I think of about 3 or 4 places, and Kinnick is right there. So when I saw 19th, I'm like, are you kidding me? But I would have to say, in very slight defense of these places that they're proposing, there is a lot of difficult places to play in college football and a lot of great home field advantages.
And I will say this, it's hard to separate. Like, it's hard to look at this and say, not taking the team into account, where are the
Yeah.
toughest places to play? I think you have to kind of take the team into account. That's part of the deal. But I also think I look at it as what's the differential, right? What's the biggest differential? Like which of the, if you had to play Ohio State, how much more would you rather play them during the day? That's kind of my criteria on
Well,
this.
not during the day. It's just home and road, just as tough as places to play, correct?
Oh, that's true. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
Well,
So,
I'd put Ohio State number one if you're going to take the team into consideration too, and the
yeah,
stadium.
I don't know why. I don't think you can really take the team into consideration, but at the same time, you have to. It's kind of a weird conversation to have.
Yeah, I understand.
LSU's got to be on that list, and Penn State's got to be on the list. I think Notre Dame is woefully under regarded on this list. I don't. I've never been to, the touchdown Jesus and the
Oh
whole
yeah.
escapade there in Chapel Hill. What am I trying to say here?
South Bend.
South Bend, Indiana, but it looks impressive on television. I don't know about North Carolina State. Seems odd. Maybe I'm naive to what goes on there. Texas A&M, I think, might. I mean, they're top 10 on this, top 11 on this list. I think Michigan's woefully over-regarded. Clemson is tough. I would not want to play Alabama on the road. Those places are, Georgia's fine. I think Ohio Stadium, I think Ohio State may be a little over-regarded too. It's not, based on what I've heard, it's not like a Penn State as far as a road venue. I'm sure it's impressive. Frankly, I mean, Kinnick is 19 for the people who are listening on the audio. They've got EA Sports has Iowa Kinnick Stadium as the 19th toughest place to play in the country. I'm biased. I'd put them top 10 without a doubt.
Yeah.
But, again, I haven't been to all these places. Oklahoma State, that one surprised me. Where do they get off being 23? That seems really strange.
I was surprised with Michigan State.
Oh, you mean too low or not, or too high?
Low.
Oh, too low.
I'm sorry. Too high. Too high.
You don't think they're a top 25 toughest place to play?
Maybe when D'Antonio was there and they were good.
Yeah, I'm thinking back when Iowa played there at night and they needed the last second play to McNutt. So I got that burned in my brain. Camp Randall, I don't know. I've not been to Camp Randall when the game has started at night, but I've been critical of that student section and the way they leave in the fourth quarter. So to me, that's got to be taken into consideration. That's not a better venue. That I'll tell you what, if there's any big flaw with this list and outcry, it should be Wisconsin over Iowa. I think that's ridiculous.
Okay.
From a venue perspective. Frankly, Michigan over Iowa from a venue perspective, that's a ridiculous argument.
So to me, I also think about what schools, regardless of their record and the status of the football team that year, still show up. And
that's why Oklahoma State shouldn't be on the list.
Yeah. And I think of where are we? I think of Washington. I know when they've been bad, the place isn't packed.
Right. But I think it's fair to put a lot of SEC teams on here by default because they just live and breathe football. And it is, I'm sure there's some programs. I mean, Vanderbilt's not a great example, but I'm sure there's some SEC programs that don't pack it out when they're not good. Florida State, you would know better than I would. I'm guessing they pack it out every single week and they've been bad. at times over the last 5-10 years. I think, and then Mississippi State, I don't know. That's kind of I guess we're grasping at straws for the last few on this list.
Well, you've got the cowbell effect there.
The cowbell. Wasn't there some scandal with that, with the was it a couple of years ago? Was it the Iowa game or was it a bowl game? Was there a big brawl with not fans, but was it Ole Miss and Mississippi State that had some big brawl in a bowl game? Or who did Mississippi State?
They do when they play.
Okay, is it the Egg? Is that what they're competing for?
The Egg Bowl. Okay.
Yeah, the Egg Bowl.
I'm well versed in the Egg Bowl.
Are you? Yeah, you covered football down there, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I was at about 6 of them. What
do you think about your alma mater losing to an FCS team?
They lose to everyone. It makes
Did you like MAC football at the time? Did you ever take an interest in MAC football?
No.
So you didn't go to games? You weren't in the student section?
When I went to Kent State, I went to one game, and it was my freshman year, orientation, because they played their first game the week before the big boys started to play the next week. They played like an August 30th kind of game.
Well, that'd be a fun thing to do. Yeah, I would have done that. But basically their version of week 0.
Yeah, they played they won on a last-second field goal against Toledo. And I never went to another game.
Toledo's a good program. That's a good win. I don't know what year that would have been.
That was when Glenn Mason
the 60s mark?
Yes, that was the yes, absolutely. The Beatles.
They playing with leather helmets? Sorry.
Yes, Glenn Mason was the head coach.
Was he the head coach at Kent State?
Yep, when I was there.
Did you get to meet him or did you cover any football games then? You didn't?
I did when I interned at the local ABC station a couple of years later. I went to a lot of Akron and Kent games. No, he was gone at that point. Okay. He went to Kansas.
Interesting.
Then Minnesota. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Kent State. They were bad then as well.
Yeah.
You cannot find a football program that has the dichotomy of being the worst winning percentage. You could argue Kent State is the very worst program in the history of college football that has produced more huge names in the sport.
In the sport?
Nick Saban.
He was Kent State?
Yeah, he graduated from Kent State. Lou Holtz. Don James. Jack Lambert. Antonio Gates. James Harrison. Julian Edelman. Joshua Cribbs.
Why could they never win? Have they ever been good?
No. Well, the guy that ran off to become the offensive coordinator for Deion Sanders, he did really well for about 2 years there. They went like 7-5.
They were a decent team when Iowa beat them a couple of years ago. I mean, I remember Iowa struggled a little bit too much in that game. Yeah, that was a decent program at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. The Golden Flashes.
Yep.
All right. Well, for as much as I think that Iowa is not regarded high enough on this list, it is a difficult task. There are a lot of great venues and raucous venues in college football.
And I'll be kind to our friends over at Iowa State. I would not want to play. They are a better road venue now than they were 10, 15 years ago. Like, Iowa's had some success there, but that's a very loyal fan base. And, I mean, I'm biased because of the Cy-Hawk game, but I wouldn't want to play at Ames either.
I would think that Nebraska fans, would be all up in arms looking at this list.
Oh, yeah, they're not on the list, are they?
No.
That's hilarious. I didn't realize that.
NC State?
Oh.
State?
I wonder if they did that just to get under the skin of Nebraska fans. I didn't even notice that. That is disrespectful to Nebraska. But if you're taking the team into consideration at all.
and their sellout streak that they're so proud of.
Yeah. Good for them.
That I have heard from time to time is not as legitimate as it would seem on the surface.
From time to